What's up, y'all? My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. Today is the 20th of November, 2025. I just finished a video in this exact same location. I pushed stop on the record button and I waited about 2-3 seconds maybe and pushed start for this one. That video was titled, "There is only one way the feet work." This video is titled, "There is only one way the hands work." This is the main side of In the Image Clothing Company, one of our fourths where we allow the human body to work, okay? We come at it through clothing. It's the only thing physically placed on us. Really, it's about the human body though, okay? There's a center line to the human body. The sternum, the spine, the trachea, the nose, and our jaw. The jaw naturally stabilizing the entire body has to stay centered on Earth's center of gravity. Earth pulls down on everything centered with the center of gravity. We place clothing on our bodies. Clothing has to stay centered, fit correct, and be made from 100% natural materials in all the ways that we can. The goal is natural. On all four sides of In the Image Clothing Company, natural, neutral, and normal are synonyms within the functioning of the human body. Our bodies, not only having a center line, have a neutral to all the functions in their motion, okay? There's no possible way physically, legitimately, mechanically to train the human being. Despite chiropractors, physical therapists, personal trainers, sports coaches, whatever it is, whoever it is, it's impossible. The body's just a mechanical machine placed onto a rock in space. This is no new information. There's just only one way the human body could ever work, designed in the image of God. Okay, it's not our choice. We have no say over God's design. In the image of Jesus Christ is who we're designed in the Image Clothing Company. We just allow the body to work. It's not about fashion. It's not even about clothing. It's about the human body's anatomy, and we discuss it in depth. Okay. But clothing's the only thing physically placed on us. So, we've got a lot of free modifications we give in clothing. We talk about how the human body just only has one way that it could ever work, activated as a whole. It's all there. We can't drag around dead weight. Nothing can compensate for anything else because everything has its own individual role to play. Everything resides in its neutrals. If the body was never altered, it would never have a problem working. Sure, amputations, deformities, major surgeries, birth defects, anything like this, similar at all, that makes you not so similar, maybe, to other people. That's fine. But there is a universal human design, what we learn about in our anatomy classes. The only way that bones connect to bones through ligaments, and then muscles connect to bones through tendons to just operate. Musculature only contracts. The human body only pulls. A video under the main side of In the Image Clothing Company here. Even though we can do a pushing motion, it's just muscles connecting at two endpoints, pulling together, but there's opposing muscles to a function, okay? So, the human body only pulls. Truly, that's all it does. Muscle fibers just pull together, activating and firing, and there you go, okay? So, stretch within clothing, one of those things that's just decades old as of today's date. It goes the opposite direction of the only way that muscles could ever work. Stretching the body itself is damaging. Muscles have to contract and get shorter to operate. Stretching is just pulling your body away from its only operations. Functionality, okay? There's a neutral, not only to positions of the body in motion that's just like a lever system, and not only to a center line of the body is there one, but there's also rotations, okay? From the neutral, here, internal rotation, in the forearms, from the fingertips up to the elbow. From internal rotation, we come back to neutral with those thumbs pointing straight up with our elbows bent, okay? Keeping elbows at the natural waist. A video under the main side of In the Image Clothing Company. We need to keep our elbows at our natural waist in life because that's just where they hang down from where they're connected at the shoulder, at that upper arm bone, the humerus. Okay, there's just neutral to gravity's pull, keeping our bodies over Earth's gravity. A video under the main side of In the Image Clothing Company here. But yes, after this neutral, we have internal, back to neutral, external rotation in the forearms. the hands up to the elbow. In the hands up to the shoulder, we have a neutral, straight up from the pinkies. Well, straight out from the pinkies, okay, is the neutral from the outside of the forearm, but straight up from the thumbs with our arms pointing forward, neutral to internal rotation, neutral at the thumbs pointing up to external rotation, okay? There's only one way the human body could ever work. All musculature in the body connects to the center line, from the outside of the shoulder into the center in the front at the sternum. On both sides, evenly, musculature connects. From the outside of the shoulder to the spine in the center, in the rear of the body, evenly on both sides, musculature connects, okay? So, same thing in the legs. From the foot up to the knee, neutral, straightforward from that pinky toe, okay? The video I just barely filmed that I just referenced when I started this, there is only one way the feet work. We have internal rotation in that lower leg from the knee down to the foot, back to the neutral, pinky toe is straight forward, and then external rotation, and back to the neutral. Now the foot up to the hip, from that pinky toe straight forward, internal rotation, back to neutral, and external rotation, and back to neutral. And you notice the rest of my body is still in its neutrals. There's only one way the human body could ever work. No way you could possibly train it. It's physically, mechanically impossible. Actually, truly, no matter what. Don't believe me. Don't believe Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company, in this for life. And don't believe In the Image Clothing Company. But truth is truth. It's God's design. Okay. The only thing that we have, an episode title of In the Image Clothing Company podcast, one of our fourths where we have discussions on the gospel of Jesus Christ, aka the truth of all things. We're all human beings placed on the same earth. We have one God who designed us all, and the earth itself. We're designed in his image. Jesus Christ is his name. Okay? We discuss him as he says that he is, although we do it imperfectly. But we're on episode 177 as of today's date of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. Our human bodies are the only thing that we have. Everything else can leave in life. Everything else we can gain in life, sure, but it's on both ends. Okay, there's opposition in all things. So, a little bit windy if you can hear it in the mic. And there you go. There's only one way the hands work. Okay? In the hands, we've got joints of bones. The bones only connect to each other the way that they do. In between those bones, there's cartilage or cushioning. When the bones are connected to the bones through ligaments, that cartilage cushions their function. But the fingers can only bend in the direction the fingers can bend. And the musculature stems up at the elbow. There's two bones in the forearm here that roll over each other to allow for rotations. Like if I take both my arms here together and rotate them like this is happening essentially looking just like this, but in each individual arm, two bones, radius and ulna, rotating over each other. You can kind of tell just by looking at it, okay? And you see all the musculature up here to my elbow when I'm wiggling my fingertips. These bones of the fingers can only bend in line, right next to each other. Straight out from that pinky finger, there's only a neutral, and then we have motion outside of that, but we can't really operate the hands outside of their neutral. Not really. Now look at the bend and everything. All through the hand, there's all these bends. And this will hurt. It will hurt because you're damaging your body. All physical pain is your body is telling you something is wrong. And there's only a neutral. If I take my hand out of my neutral and I try to wiggle my fingers, I can't. If I put my fingers right next to each other in line, neutral straight out from the pinky, I can wiggle my fingers very freely. It goes up my arm here with all the muscles stemming at the elbow coming down. If I want to grip something really strong and firmly, where grip strength really comes from, a video under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company, well, there's a lot to it. And it's the entire body working the only way the body can, activated as a whole. Because when you grip things, it actually starts back here at your shoulder. And your shoulder isn't just this thing at the edge of your body up here, your shoulder's all the musculature connecting into your spine behind you. And you'll only ever track your fingers in line in the way that they work, okay? Neutral. You fall out of that neutral, you can never possibly track your fingers in line. It just won't work. Not really. I mean, sure, you could do it, but not really, because you've got all these angles now, and you've just got tendons going through these joints that connect the musculature to the bones, and they just have to track in their grooves or they'll wear out. There's only one neutral. There's only one way you can grab things, really. There's only one way your human body could ever work. We talk about fingernails and toenails, fully to the tips of the fingers and the toes, cut relatively flat on the tips. So we have backing and support to the fingers and toes, because that's why God gave us the nails. And then we won't roll out of that neutral position. If we cut them relatively flat on the tips, okay? But we have to have those fingernails backing the fingers, or else we would never have grip strength to begin with. You can train it all you'd like to, but there's only one way the hands work, okay? But that's the thing, is it starts at the shoulder, because our shoulders have to be in their neutral position, because the hand is the shoulder, as the foot is the hip. There's only one inline position for the hand. But also, this is the thing, the hand arches correlate with the arches in the feet. So if we don't start at the feet, so you can check that video I referenced out that I filmed right before this, there is only one way the feet work. But then we just talk about a lot with shoes, In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique, no opinion of ours, we don't own it, but truly just the only way you can weave a rope across the top of the human feet and not alter the mechanics of them. And that's just half of the foot's functioning anyway, is lifting the foot, dorsiflexing the toes, okay? These are the Denver leather boots by the brand Zero Shoes. Just, they're still here from filming that other video on the feet that I just referenced, so there's some credit for whose these are, design-wise, okay? So there's only one way the human hands could ever work, though. And we have to have this rounding to our hands, but it will only come from our feet being unaltered. And so we talk about a lot of free modifications, right, in clothing. Under In the Image Clothing Company, we'll always have good clothing, staying centered and fitting correct, being made from, in all the ways that we can, 100% natural materials. But just anything we ever do in our lives, we have to keep our hands neutral, straight out that pinky finger, okay? Just like the neutral pinky foot. Well, the neutral foot straight out from the pinky toe. The neutral hand is straight out from the pinky finger. And that's the only way you'll have this rounding in your hands as well. Because if you come out of this neutral, all of a sudden things just don't track in line. And we just have different length to fingers, and they just mesh naturally around our thumb with this nice rounding here. Then we have an open palm, and then we have an open wrist capsule, if you call it a capsule, right? The functionality here in the wrist, only with the rounding in the hands, which only comes from other parts of the body all working together. So the importance of the same size hands, you know, we can get hands that are altered in size, feet that are altered in size, you know, anything in the body where we're using one side of the body more than the other, or more incorrectly than the other, or whatever it is. But, you know, living in this right-handed world where the right side of our body gets externally rotated and dropped lower and farther away from the body, and now our elbow isn't at our natural waist, and our shoulder's altered as well, and then our hand is not in its neutral. And there is only one way the hands work. Okay. So, yeah, there's only one way the hands work. The big thing is we have to mesh everything together at the pads. The thumb pad, the pinky pad, the ring finger pad, the middle finger's pad, and the index finger's pad all come together, meshing, okay, where those fingerprints are, because now we're neutral. Because the hands are designed to come to each other. Musculature in the body comes to itself, in a sense, to the center line. All muscles in the body only pull, right? The human body only pulls. That video, under the main side of In the Image Clothing Company, as I said earlier, the musculature just pulls two endpoints together. The hands gripping together means one farthest away part of the human hand to the other farthest away part of the human hand. The pads of the fingers meeting the pads of the thumb. And that can only happen in a neutral. Otherwise, it just changes how things work, because mechanically, the hand isn't just the hand. The hand is the shoulder. And the human body can only work activated as a whole. We just have to clear the fingers. You won't even close your hand if your fingers aren't next to each other in line neutral. Okay? And so even here, holding my ankles, or my lower legs, right? I need to be as neutral as I can, straight out the pinky, in the hand. Otherwise, if I hold my ankles with my wrists cocked back like this, my shoulders will fall out of their only neutral. Because the musculature has to stem from the shoulder. And really, it's stemming from the spine. And really, that's coming from our feet supporting our entire body. There is only one way the feet work, right? We have to start at the feet, always in life, but you have to be neutral. But see, look what it does to my index finger. If I'm not holding my own leg here in a neutral position out the pinky, then it puts things onto an angle. And those are tendons that are pulling over a joint, and you can see them having to roll over the joint. We'll wear our bodies out if we're not using our bodies in their only working position. This is the truth. There's no possible way to train the human body. It's physically, mechanically, legitimately impossible. You can get stronger in your body's only workings, but you go outside of them and you just alter your body. Okay? There's just a neutral. There's just a neutral. There's just a neutral. There's just a neutral. In all the functions and every way the body could ever work, there's only one way the human hands work. Okay? But this isn't like, look, I've done all this training, get as good as me, and make your hands work the only way they could and get them perfect. No. But if we never wore clothing, the human body would just work. We live in a modern man-made world. We talk about eating, standing, sleeping, sitting, walking, breathing, hydration, everything we do as a human being naturally. If I already said that like that in this, then okay, I just filmed 2 videos back to back. But if not, there it is for the first time. If it's the second time in this, then that's fine too. We do the same thing for dogs. On In the Image Clothing Company Poodles, we specialize in purebred standard poodles, okay? We let dogs stay natural. The same thing as allowing the body to work, but we do it for dogs. Our information applies to all dogs, except for anything that would be very poodle specific. And yeah, collars, leashes, harnesses, just like human being clothing, we'll always have them, and we'll always give good information on free modifications in them to not alter the dogs. But things like keeping collars centered, right? All the musculature and tendons going through our collars. We've got In the Image Clothing Company's dreaded collar seam modification, In the Image Clothing Company's rotated seam modification, and a lot of free modifications we give for human being clothing. We have to keep our dogs' collars centered to not alter our dogs. But we talk about things like holding leashes naturally to not alter our bodies. There's this rounding in the hand, and so really, I talk often about how we can actually have more strength using just the 2 middle fingers like this, the ring finger and the actual middle finger, to grip something, than we can have in many cases using all 4 fingers, because the hand is round, okay? And so we just have to keep the hand round as we hold something. So we talk about holding leashes to keep our neutral wrist, elbows at the natural waist, right? And not alter our bodies. Again, there's only one way the human hand works. You're holding a leash in a position your hand doesn't work, and you're damaging your entire body. And you don't know what you don't know, and you can't be held accountable for what you don't know. But that's why we're here as In the Image Clothing Company. I'm in this for life, Evan Strong as the founder. We just give truth. Don't believe us, because it's true no matter what, if it's true. Truth is apart from all of us. It's something we can never decide. It's like the design of the human being. It's God's. We can't train it. We can only allow it to work by understanding and learning how it does. Same thing with dogs, and this is just how life is. So on In the Image Clothing Company podcast, another one of our fourths, I mean, that sounds almost accusatious, but I'm in that as well. It's not like I'm preaching something to you out of my own doings. I know God, and we all can. We have discussions on the gospel of Jesus Christ, aka the truth of all things. No claim, but we're all human beings, designed by one God, placed on the same earth. We discuss him as he says that he is. I think I might have said that in this already as well. I made 2 videos back to back. If I did, I did. If I didn't, now I have said it once, right? Yeah, because the only thing that we have, right, the human body, there's only one way it works. So, yeah, we have discussions on the gospel of Jesus Christ. We're on episode 177 as of today's date, and it's awesome. You know, don't just like listen to us, but we give a lot of deep insights on life. And man, yeah. So in the Image Clothing Company music, another one of our fourths, we show a lot of sizing and setup of guitar. I think I said that in this already as well. I did. It's humbling. It's really humbling because it doesn't matter. I mean, I could say it as many times as I could say it. But there's just, you know, we have to keep the body working in line. I've discussed all 4 sides of us in this enough now to have enough of a discussion on them. Man, I'm like tripped up. Yeah. Bring your poodles, purebred of any size, poodle mixes of any size. If I didn't say that, now I have, you know. Poodle parade events here in the state of Utah. We're based in the south end of Utah. We'll get people into nature, dogs into nature. Have a good time. Getting people back to their authentic self and just seeing the beautiful Utah scenery, you know. Yeah. I'm humbled by this video specifically. I mean, like in a different way. There's only one way the hands work, man. You have to allow them to just have all the fingers connected. When we eat, you know, because we talk about eating naturally, we need to have our hands as close as we can have them together to keep the rest of our bodies active. Sometimes we're eating and we're just kind of like altering our whole bodies because our hand is coming out of its neutral position. The hand is the shoulder is the jaw, you know, directly. Okay, there's only one way the human body could ever work. We need to just reside in our neutral positions. And the hands are one of those things, a lot of times in modern day, we just use things that are too big for our hands. We have so many man-made products, you know, and things need to fit in our hands. A video under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company here, but that's just the case always. We need to have things fit in our hands. You'll never train your hands to work. You'll never massage your hands out and get them to feel better. It might be coming from your feet. You know, we just give a lot of deep insights, a lot of deep truth, man. Do not believe us or me, you know, just don't. Meaning truth is truth regardless of if you believe in anything or not. The only way we can have an opinion on how the hands work is because we've been given hands by God. They work how they work. We can discuss how we think they work, but they're just doing what they're doing regardless. That's the truth. There's only one way they work, and we have to look at the entire body before we could ever address the hands. And the feet are huge. I mean, if your feet are altered, like I was showing, if your feet's arches are collapsed, you'll never have hand arches. And really what that hand arch is just the hand's ability to have all the bones clear each other just because there's different length fingers and they're just a rounding to the hands. Man, I love the visuals. I love the way that God gives me the understandings and the way that I am able to explain them. There's no opinion. You got different length fingers, you know. The middle finger's the longer one. As they come together, they meet at the thumb. I mean, it's just how the hand works. And there's that rounding. There's that neutral pinky. And there's that open wrist. But it all comes from the rest of the body being neutral. I mean, everything will just adjust if anything moves out of its only working position. That's why these videos are here. There is only one way the hand works. Okay, there is only one way the hands work, because there is, and we need to know that, because you have them. Maybe you don't have hands at all. You're probably not watching this video though if you don't, and that's fine if you don't. But if you have hands, you need to know enough to be intentional. That's a video I made. I just took a snippet from a longer video 2 days ago under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company. Even this, right? If we can straighten our hands, we can straighten our elbow. When I say straighten, I mean put the fingers together. Yeah, your body needs to be in its neutral position. The hand starts back here at the spine, you know? It does. And where do we put our hands in life? Well, you shouldn't. That's what I mean. You know, that whole thing about what do I do with my hands? People are on video or something, and they're like, they don't know where to put their hands, maybe in the pockets, maybe on the hips or something. But there's only one neutral. Keeping elbows at the natural waist is happening with your hands internally rotated up on your hips. Your elbows are still at your natural waist, front to back, and your fingers are still tracking in line. Your hand is actually very, very, very neutral with your hand on your hips. I mean, it might be even cocked back slightly, but that's just how the neutral wrist is, because we need to be able to grab something. Even just when the fingers mesh to the thumb, the hand just goes back. Okay, otherwise you can't get to your thumb, just because they're different lengths. Okay, that's what I mean. In the Image Clothing Company, we have no opinions. No opinions as far as like what we're based around. We could never get anything to happen with the body. It is physically impossible to get the body to do anything. There is only one way. That's an episode title of In the Image Clothing Company podcast, actually, quite a few months back. That's what these 2 videos that I filmed here today are titled, right? I mean, that's what we focus on, is how do we get down to how it works. It only does what it does. Okay? Don't believe me. Don't believe us. But being in this for life, Evan Strong as the founder of In the Image Clothing Company, this doesn't exclude a single human being on the face of the earth. Even if your body's altered even quite a bit, we have to do all that we can to get down to the universal human design in our own situations, because that's the only way the human body could work. And you know that if you have something specific to your situation that's quite different. It's hard because it's got a baseline. It's got a workings that only do that. God. Not me, not Evan Strong. Watch this. I mean, even that, keep the fingers together. Everything we do in our lives, if we can keep our fingers together nice and closely, then the rest of our bodies can work, because things then just line up. There's only one way the body could ever do anything. There's no new information. This is the same for every human being who has ever lived or will ever live. We're designed in the image of God. This has nothing to do with anybody at all except for God. That's the thing, you know, you do not need to believe in God. He's there, regardless. If you want to believe in anything or not, God is still there, as he says that he is. It's the truth. Regardless of if you're religious or not. Yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts, dude. So, anyway. Yeah, there's rotations in the forearm, and so we just need to keep our hands neutral. If our forearms rotations bind up, our shoulders will bind up. The shoulder goes to the rest of the body, but it can start from the rest of the body and come to the hands. The biggest takeaway is really keep the neutral wrist straight out from that pinky finger. Keep nails fully supporting your fingers and your toes. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's about it. Keeping those fingers together, man. Then you're just in your neutral position, you know. I mean, it's always on the back end. It's always allowing the body to work. You'll never get, you'll never stretch to something. It's just a range of motion. It's just there. It's just how the body works. only if it's allowed to, all together. And the hands are really big because that's what we do things with in life, you know? The feet are really big, we walk and stand, sure. But, I mean, we use the hands for so much. And if we're not allowing them to just work how they do, they won't work. And they'll be altered, okay? That's where I'll leave this, okay? Yeah, come hang out. We do so much under the gift of video and always will, as in the Image Clothing Company. So much with the dogs, it'll be so fun, so cool. So much more than just the cuteness of the dogs, right? But yeah, breeding poodles, that'll be great. The puppies will always be a cute thing to see if you think puppies are cute. You know, and I think puppies are cute. But yeah, I mean, a lot of it's what we can do for people through dogs too, you know, so. Anyway, today's the not the 30th, but the 20th of November, 2025. Yeah, you know who I am. I'm in this for life. Evan Strong, as the founder of In The Image Clothing Company. This is our main side. Check out the other 3 if you'd like to. There's 4 sides too in The Image Clothing Company. I kind of said a couple of them a couple different times in this, you know. I talked about each of the 4 of them at least a little bit here, so check it out. You know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos as of today's date. Yeah, a lot. And that's one of the biggest things we will always be is videos, as in the Image Clothing Company. The visuals are so cool because then you can understand it. You can look at it. I can discuss it verbally and you can see it happening at the same time, right? The importance of even short sleeves, keeping short sleeves short. Videos under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company. How sleeve cuffs affect body mechanics. You know, a lot of things will go directly to the hands, or indirectly they will very much affect the hands still, you know, from anywhere on the body. So they're big. There's just so much functionality. Something like the hands and feet, these 2 videos back to back here that I filmed today. There's, you know, so many bones in them. They have a lot of dexterity and motion and a lot of things that they can do. There are extremities other than the head, you know, the hands and the feet. When I talk about the body and how it's altered by anything that I'm discussing as being altered by potentially, and I say to the tip of the head, the tips of the fingers, and out to the tips of the feet, you'll be altered if, you know, and then whatever I'm discussing. Well, the hands are the extremities and they come in. You know, alteration can come out, but alteration can come from the hands in if we're just not allowing our bodies to work. I don't care who cares. You know, you don't have to care about fashion. You don't have to think that I'm right. By all means, think that I'm wrong with all my bold things that I say that sound like claims. It lines up. Truth is truth. We did not design the human body. Animals just work. They never stretch. I mean, maybe, you know, right after they wake up, they'll stretch for like 3 seconds. But you know, they don't do exercising to train for something. Animals just work. The human body would as well. And, you know, anybody on the earth who just lives in a place where it's not such a man-made society, you know, their bodies work. But we just can't alter the body from things in the world, from things we place on it. And then we just discuss the human body and dogs as well in all aspects, like I was saying, you know. So there you go. I'm gonna leave it right there. Thank you. There's a lot more of this to come, you know, just truth. Stuff that seems so shocking after years of listening to doctors that are wrong. It's not me versus them, it's truth versus human beings, and I'm a human being as well. There's only truth. Okay. Thank you, goodbye.